Welcome to today's tutorial. Now in this tutorial we are going to be creating a biodata form. Alright, a form that accepts users with biodata. We can call it a registration page, a registration form. Alright, okay, so let's go to startup. I have this my Visual Studio Code here. I'm going to be creating new file and I'm going to name it register.html. Alright, so okay, let's run this. Okay, so you can see now I'm going to be changing the title to registration page. So we have the title here, registration page. Alright, so I'm going to be using the field set elements, and the field set is going to give something like a box. Alright, then inside the field set I'm going to be adding a caption for the field set element using the legend element, and I'm going to be saying, remember, if you use the legend element, it's going to create a sort of space here. Alright, and here we are going to be giving it the caption. And I'm going to say register here. Okay, then after the closing of the legend elements, then we can now create what? Our form. Alright, and we can say the method should be, we can use get, or I'm going to leave it blank. By default, you know the method is already get. Okay, so now I'm going to be using the label element. I'm going to be saying label username or first name, and after the label an input field. And placeholder, I can say please enter your first name. Alright, so you can see, so we have this label here, and we have this our input field. Okay, remember this placeholder is used to give a hint about the input field. Alright, it is used to give hint about the input field. Alright, okay, why does this keep doing this? Okay, so I'm going to also, I want a situation whereby when we click on this, it should be able to highlight this our input field, and that is the major purpose why we use this label to hold this our first name here. So here in this four attributes here, I'm going to be giving it a word or a text or a value, and let's say f name. Alright, then here I'm going to be giving it that same word, f name. So if you want to use your label to target your input field, the value for the four attributes must be the same with the value for the id attribute. They must be the same. Very very case sensitive. If you use capital letter, make sure to use capital letter. If you use small letter, make sure to use small letter. Alright, so let's come here to try it out. When I click on this, let's see if it's going to highlight this our input field that we used it to target. Alright, so it's working well, you can see it. Okay, and I'm going going to add a BIR tag so that the next element should be beneath it, and I'm going to copy this, and let's come here and paste. Alright, let me maximize this. Let me add another BIR tag here. Okay, so here we can say last name, and here I can say early name, and I'm going to change it to what? Early name. Alright, then instead of please enter your first name, I can say please enter your last name. Alright, so you can see. Okay, so remember, the form is inside what? Our what? Field set element. You can see the opening of the field set, you can see the closing of the field set. The form is what? Inside, and the legend is on its own. The legend is not what? Inside our form. Alright, the legend is exactly after what? The opening of the word field set. Okay, so let's proceed. Let me remove this space here, and also for this. So I'm going to copy this also. We have I'm going to copy from here, and here we have this. We have this. We have this. We have this. All right. So we have this. We have all this. Okay. So our first name here, then last name, then here we are going to be accepting emails. So let's say email. Then here I can say email. Then here email. Please enter your what? Email address or email. Please enter your email. And I'm going to be changing the type of this input field to what? Email. So it only what? Accepts what? Email. Then for this I'm going to be accepting the user's what? Phone number. And here I can say phone. Here I can say tel. Then here phone. Remember, this and this should be what? They must be the same, so that this will be used to what? Target what? The input field. So here I can say please enter your what? Phone number. Alright, then here I will say password. Here I can say p word. Here I can say p word also. And here for the input type, I'm going to be using password. Then please enter your what? Password. Then for this, let's say cp word. So confirm password. And here I'm going to be saying confirm password. Here I'm going to be giving it the same thing, cp word. So here I'm going to be saying please re-enter your password. Alright, then I think we need something else. Date of birth, I can say DOB. So here I can say DOB, and here DOB. to remove this placeholder here. It's not necessarily needed for a date input field. So I can say date time. Alright, so we can check it out and see what we achieved so far. So we have this here. Alright, you can say date time local. Or we can just use dates. So you can see. So the date is going to give us, it's going to allow us to input only dates. If we choose the daytime local, it's going to allow us to input both date and time. You can see date on this side, you can see time on this side. So the best to use is the dates. Okay, we have all this, as you can see. Okay, we also have sex. I'm going to be using this for sex, and I'm going to remove this. And for this type here, I'm going to be using a radio button, no ID. There's no need of ID and placeholder. Yeah. So let's see. Okay, we have this, and I'm going to be saying, let me put it before it. Let me see first. Let's say mail. Alright, I can also encapsulate this in the span elements, and yeah, let me say mail. So after this sex here, I'm going to be adding a VRO. So the male and female should be at the bottom of the sex. So here male. I can remove this. Let's see. Okay, we have male. Then I'm going to copy this and paste, and here I'm going to be saying female. Alright, female. So we have we have male and we have female. Okay, now if you want to also use label for this, you can still use label. As you can see, the let me refresh. You can see if I tick on this, it's not highlighting the radio button. You can use label if you feel like to use label. So let me say want to use label. I'm going to be saying label, and yeah, I'm going to be saying male. Then label, yeah, I'm going to be saying female. Alright, that means I'll now be giving this an ID, and let's say male, and let's give this an ID also, and let's say female. Alright, then in the for attribute, same thing, male and female. Alright, so let's see. You can see male and female. Alright, but we don't want the user to be able to select both of these radio buttons. So I'm just going to work on that. If you don't know how to do that, check my previous videos. Alright, check my previous video. Alright, we've talked about radio buttons. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to be giving them same name, and I can say sex, or I can use gender. Alright, but just know that the value for this name here should be the same thing with value for this also. So let's sorry, so let's go back there. You can see male. Okay, you can see. Okay, so we are done with that. Remember, to make that to work, the value for this your name attribute for the other input field must be the same for what, must also be the same value for what, for the other what input field. So if you have like 3 input field, maybe don't, it's not about male or female, it's about different things, and you want them to select only one option, and it's a what, radio button. Remember to use one same value for the name what, or the name attributes of that same what button. All right, so after that I'm going to be adding, let's say, another input field, let's say BRO. And this input type should be checkbox. Let me add another break statement here. Checkbox. I'm going to be removing this, and we can say, we can add a bold tag here and say accept terms and conditions. Alright, accept terms and what, conditions. Then another break line, and here another input, and we can say this should be what, submit, which is what this submit what button here. Alright, then I'm going to change the value of the submit button to what, register. So you can see register. Alright, so let me just format this document. Okay, so you can see okay, so you can see it here, we have the first name, last name, and all that. Alright, then we have what, the register. Okay, so I'm going to be adding the required what, I'm going to be adding the required attribute for our input what fields. Alright, so yeah, if you are using a system, just hold your alternate key, and let's select, just be clicking on them, the parts where you want to add the what, the attributes. Okay, then here also, let's say here, then checkbox here, then where else? Okay, I'm going to be saying required. Alright, so let's try to, okay, you can see, please fill out, let's see, please fill out this what field. Okay, so let's try to do something. Let's see. You can see, okay, let's see if we may. So I need to what, tick this. Alright, before I will not be able to what, register. Okay, so you can see. Okay, where is that this thing? Okay, we can add this checked. So if you add checked, by default it's going to be what? Selected. You can see by default, let's refresh, by default it's going to be what? Checked. So you can see it. Alright, that is the work of what? This checked here that we what? Added. Okay, that is the work of this checked here that we what? Added. Okay, so I'm going to be advancing this now a little bit, and I'm going to be giving them values for the name attribute. Alright, and what this name attribute does is that it just stands like what? As a variable. So if I should come here and say, let's say first name or f name, or we can say first name. Alright, yeah, I'm going to be using the get method. Automatically is already on get method by default. Then we have first name here. Here I'm going to be saying last name. Here email. Here phone. Here I can say password or p word. Let me just use password. Here I can say C password, which is confirm password. Here I can say DOB, date of birth. And where else? Where else? Okay. We have sex. We have female. Then I'm going to give this a value, male. And I'm going to be giving this a value also, female. Alright, why am I giving them a value? I want so that if they select any of these, alright, we should be having something like sex, which sound like the variable name, equal to what? Male, or sex equal to what? Female. Alright, I'm going to be giving it, let's say accept or T and C. I can say T and C, or let's use accept. Alright, then what else? Okay, let's go out, let's try out what we just did. So first name, let's say the great. Then last name, let's say tech. Email, alright, then phone number, then password, let's say 12345. Confirm password 12345. Date of birth, also yes. Then mail, acceptance and condition. Now when I click on register, you are going to see what all these are, what data here that we was imputed. You are going to see them append on this what our URL here. Alright, that is the work of that name values that we gave it just now. Okay, so you can see we have our first name as what? The great. Alright, so this first name is this name that I wrote here inside this name attribute, here. This last name is the value I give what this name attribute that is for this what input field. Alright, so this is just a practical. So if you don't know how to do all this, you just check back on our previous classes, our previous tutorials. Alright, we've explained all this previously. So you can see we have the first name as well, the great, the last name as well, tech. We have email as this, and you can see it here. We have the phone number to be plus 234. As you can see, we have the password 12345, confirm password same, date of birth as this. All right, and we can go on and on and on. Now you can see sex equal to what? Male. All right, terms and condition, which is what? Accept. You can see that is what? On. All right. Okay, so we just created what? A simple biodata what? Form, or a simple registration what? Form. All right, we just created this simple registration form. All right, you can add a break line here to make this what? All these input field come beneath or below your what? Your labels. All right, it is not that hard. Let's say for this first one, this is our label here. So beneath the label, we want this input field to be beneath the label. So we are going to be adding what? A break line. All right, very very what? Simple, you can see. Then for this also, a break line. All right, so I can just use the alternate key to select them all, and sorry, and let's add a break line now. Okay, then okay, so you can see we have the first name, we have the last name, we have the email, we have phone number, we have password, confirm password, date of birth, we have sex, we have accept what terms and what condition. We now have what? Our register what button. You can see it here. All right, so let's go back to preview the code once again. Okay, so let me remove this empty space. All right, so I'm just going to run a quick explanation once more on maybe two of the input field, and you can carry on. Now we have this our field set that is going to give us that box like shape, that is going to give us this kind of a box, as you can see. All right, we have the what? Legend that we use to what? Encapsulate what? The caption for the field set. All right, then we have our form, the opening tag of our form, and if you trace this line, you're going to see the closing tag, which is this. You see the closing tag of our form. As you can see, all other what? Form elements are inside what? The opening, between, are inside what? The opening and the what? Closing tag. So they are inside the opening and the closing tag of the what? Form. All right, so if this button register should be outside the form, it's not going to see it as a what? Form data. All right, it's not going to see it as a form data. So when you click on the button, it's not going to do anything. You can see now this button is still what? Is working. You can see now if I should remove this button and paste it outside the form. All right, so let's go to click. Now you can see it's not seeing this button now as a what? Form element. It's seeing it as an ordinary what? Button. All right, but if it is what? Inside, it's now going to see it what? As a form element. So if I click on this, it's going to what? Perform some what? Works. Okay, now we now have what? Our label. Our label, we now have the label, and we what? Gave it what? A label name, which is what? First name. All right, which is this, and we made use of the word four attributes for the label, and we gave the four, or we gave the value for the four attribute to be what? First name. Then we have our input field. The type is what? Test. The name, which is standard, the what? Variable name is what? First name. And we have what? The ID, which is what? F name, to target what? This our label. So this our label, and the value for this four attribute of the label is working together with what? The value for this what? ID of the what? Input field. So it is what allows this label to be able to what? Target what? This input field. Alright, and we have this placeholder that holds this piece of text that you can see inside our what input field. So you can see please enter your what first name, and we have this required what attributes here that is not going that the required attribute works in like in such a way that we will not be able to what submit the form except we fill in what that particular what input field. All right, so when you use the required attributes on any particular input field, it means that input field is meant and must be what filled. It must not be blank. Okay, it must not be what blank. So that is what this required does for us. Okay, then we have these two break line here to create this two space here. If I should remove them, you see the next one is here. You can see the next one here went up. Okay, so we need the break line. We use it to what push the next element, which is what this to what we use it to push it beneath this what other what element twice. You can see we use two break line here, so twice. Okay, so I think this is just the major explanation you'll be needing. Alright, so if you don't understand anything here, just check back on my previous video where we extensively what explained what those input field attributes and all of that does. Alright.